Welcome back to the add-on. So recently, NBA legend Hall of Famer Julius Erving, aka Dr. J, named his top 10 greatest basketball players of all time. And some people, were shocked at it and didn't really agree with it, who he had on this list. But hey, we gonna go over it, man. And see all the players he named that were his top five. He said, I quote, "I have five guys that are untouchable: Bill Russell, Wilt Chamberlain, Oscar Robertson, Jerry West, and Elgin Baylor. The next group of guys would be Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Michael Jordan, Erving Magic Johnson, Karl Malone." And for that last spot, he said he goes back and forth. Him and his son go back and forth with Tim Duncan belongs on there, blah, blah, blah. But he's taking Nate Archibald. So, hey, I think I ain't got no problem with it. I mean, obviously there's no Kobe on there. There's no Tim Duncan. There was no Shaq. There was no LeBron. So it was definitely some modern players on there I definitely would have on there. But, hey, I think with Dr. Dre, you guys got to understand, he's, 73 years old. So his era is, he took the guys in his era, like who he saw. Like, he played against most of those dudes, or all those dudes, if I'm not mistaken. So it's like, when I think of lists and things like that, especially coming for somebody like Dr. J, who was playing in the NBA, played against those guys, NBA champion, two-time ABA champion, most valuable player, three-time ABA MVP, 11-time NBA All-Star, like Hall of Famer, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, and he was a member of the NBA anniversary team, 35th, 50th, and the 75th. So like Dr. J, one of the greatest players ever. So like when you hear him speak and when he names his list, you can't get mad at it. Especially if you somebody like Stephen A. Smith. I know he got mad. He was like, you can't have a list without LeBron. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I ain't really tripping on that. Obviously, LeBron gotta be on the list if I'm being real. But at the same time, it's like it's all subjective. With any list, it don't even gotta be sports. That's why when you talking about rap, the greatest NFL players, the greatest NBA players, it don't really matter. It's no right or wrong answer. And especially for somebody like Dr. J, these are dudes that, he watched. Some of the dudes he grew up playing, watching. I mean, I think one of the he was like, I made this decision when I was 15 years old. I'm sticking with it now all these years later. There is no order with the dudes that he named. So obviously some of the dudes was before his time, but it's like, man, like, you can't really get mad at, his list, because that's his list. That's some of the dudes who he thinks is the greatest. And obviously he has respect for Kobe, respect for LeBron and Steph and Tim Duncan and Shaq, but they not in his list. That's his list. You know what I'm saying? Who he thinks is the best ever. And you can't really argue with nobody on that list. Like, they're all legends. They're all Hall of Famers, all the dudes I named. I mean, I think at least he got, Michael Jordan and Magic Johnson in his list, two of the top 5 players ever. Once you start getting into dudes like Oscar Robertson and Jerry West and Elgin Baylor, those dudes are without a doubt Hall of Famers. Me personally, I don't think they're top 10 all time, because I think there've been players greater than them. But for their time and what they were able to accomplish, Jerry West is literally the logo. I mean, he's a legend. Elgin Baylor, we all know what he did. Oscar Robertson, triple-double king, until Russ surpassed him, of course. Wilt Chamberlain, don't get me started by how of a monster he was. Bill Russell, one of the best defenders of all time, best rebounders, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, everybody he named were legends, Hall of Famers. So it's like, my take on it, I don't really got an issue with a list, because that's his personal list. And anytime you make a top 10 list, it's all subjective. And, these are dudes that, Dr. J, played against or he grew up watching. So, don't get in your feelings. Don't get butthurt. Everybody has a different list. Everybody, list ain't for everybody. But, yeah, I just thought it was interesting to touch on that. And, yeah, man, you guys like, comment, share, subscribe. And comment down below your thoughts on Dr. J's list. Do you agree with it? Do you disagree with it? And then how do you feel about kind of my main point of saying that, it's all subjective and, everybody has their own personal list. But other than that, like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next video.